everybody, we're back. Last lesson for the week. This one will be our Friday lesson. This is going to be lesson 722. Okay, and then there'll be a little formative after that as well. So again, do the video before the formative, please. Okay, work your way through and then you should be okay. Also, this is a reminder since it's the last video of the week, is I'm going to post up a couple places where you can go. They want you to start looking during your spring break week, since we won't have any formal lessons. Some different places you can go just to hone your skills and do some math stuff. Some of you guys probably already do this, but in case you don't, and I'll put them actually on the Canvas calendar, okay, where you can go. That or I'll make a quick video for you one way or another. I'll let you know some good places to go. So let's get back at it. My little buddy here, little baby crying, but I don't want to go back to school. However, I want to go back to school so I can be with you hooligans. And there, I hate doing it this way and I wish you guys were here. So this is me crying going, I want to go back to school. So the opposite way around. And it's not pretty when Mr. McCarthy cries. Okay, dad joke. Question, what does a zombie vegetarian eat? Grains. You know, instead of brains, grains, vegetarian, no meat. Yeah. So, zombies only eat brains, you're safe. That one was for Knucklehead right there. Okay, here we go. So 7.722, solving proportions. So we're taking what we did in the last unit, and now that's all we're focused on. Let's just solve these things. And we're going to give you some plain ones and some word problems, and we're just going to work the way through. So again, we're looking for relationships. Is it cross multiply? Is it simplify a fraction? What is it? But we got to start out with the basics first. So JR in 7-106, okay, back in the book, JR reduced figure A, which is my red figure here, to create a similar figure B. So he shrunk it down to get down to B. Okay, they want us to write all the ratios that compare the corresponding sides of figure B to figure A. So this is a key, figure B to figure A. Okay, the order does matter. So they want to know what's the relationship between those ratios and how do we know this? So if we look at this, remember that when we shrunk stuff down, we talked about monster trucks. If you only shrink part of the truck down, it's going to be a goofy looking thing. So when we shrink and dilate a shape down, you've got to multiply or divide all the sides by the same number. Okay, we try to multiply. I try not to have you divide. So you're either multiplying by a number greater than 1 to make it bigger, or in this case, we're multiplying by a fraction to make it smaller. So I want to know what's the relationship between the top sides. Okay, so we have 3 is in the same spot as 4. 3 is in the same spot as 4. Let's do the other ones. 9 is in the same spot as 12. And then X, which is on the left, is in the same spot as the 6. Now the question is 3/4, 9/12, and X over 6, what is their relationship? What do you notice about them? Yes, thank you for whoever yelled that out. Okay, notice that these are all equal to each other. And they should be equal to each other because we shrunk this side down to get to there. We did the same thing to this side and we'll do the same thing to the 6 to get down to the X. So 3/4 is equivalent to 9/12, which is equal to whatever X is over 6. Okay, they're all equal to each other. Okay, so we're reducing by the same amount, okay, or we're using the same scale factor. Okay, let's put this to work now. So we have that relationship here. 3/4 is equal to X over 6. What we're going to do right now, and I'm going to have you copy this down, and we're going to do this 3 different times. So this is 7-107. 3/4 is equal to X over 6. I'm going to show you how 3 different ways that we can solve this. So let's do the first one. I'm noticing that 4 doesn't go nicely into 6. Okay? That's not a good relationship. So what I'm going to do is remember when we did fraction busting? I'm going to do that right now. How do I get rid of the 6 and the 4 off the bottom on both sides of this equation? Yes, thank you, Mason. Find a common denominator. So the common denominator is 12. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 12. That will help me get rid of the fraction parts. So 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 12 3 times, 3 times 3 is 9. On the right side, 6 goes into 6 once, 6 goes into 12 twice, 2 times x is 2x. And then Lucy, how do I undo this? Yep, thank you. She said divide by 2, undo the multiplication. So then x is equal to 4.5. So 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So that's one way to do it. Let's eliminate the fraction parts by multiplying by a common denominator. Another way to do it would be to just eliminate this one over here. Okay, so you've written down my proportion again. Okay, we have 3 over 4 equals x over 6, so this would be example number 2. Instead of getting rid of both fractions, why don't we just get rid of the 6 near the x? So let's multiply by that denominator. So we're going to multiply both sides by 6. So 6 goes into 6 once, 6 goes into 6 once, so I just have x left. Then all I got to do is this part. What's 6 times 3? Thank you, 18. 4 times 1 is 4, so I have 18 over 4. And now you just do the simple division. So x is going to equal 4 goes into 18. How much? Yes, 4 times, and I have 2 left over. 4 and 2/4, so 4.5, just like our first problem. Now, another way we could approach this is, what do I have to multiply? So now write it down for a third time. 3 over 4 equals x over 6. Is, how do I get from 4 over to 6? What do I have to multiply by? Well, 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So I'm halfway in between those. So 4 times what would get me 6? Yes, Elodie, it would be 1.5. So we're going to multiply by 1.5. We're going to multiply by 1.5. So multiply by 1.5. Here, I'll get rid of this top part so you guys can see this a little bit better. So we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by 1.5. So 4 times 1.5 gave us a 6. 3 times 1.5 is going to give us 4.5. So you can see those are 3 very different ways to do this. Now I just thought about it, why don't we give you the 4th way as well? So let's write this down again. I'll erase up here by number 1. Write down 3 over 4 equals x over 6 one more time. Okay, so since 4 doesn't go into 6 perfectly, and some of us don't want to fraction bust, why don't we just cross multiply and divide? 4 times x is 4x, 3 times 6 is 18, and then how do I undo multiplication? You're right, divide by 4, so then x equals 4.5 when we do the division. And that would be yet another way for you. So you can see we've got a lot of different options on how to solve these. You find the one that's good for you. Just remember though, sometimes the way you like to do it, depending on the numbers, might not be the best way to do it. Okay, next page. Okay, so I gave you a bunch of more proportions, so we're on 7-108. So we have P over 22.5 equals 7 over 5. So P over 22.5 equals 7 over 5. This is the one that you're going, what would be an easy way to do this? I need to get rid of the 22.5 down below. Okay, so let's get rid of the fraction. So let's multiply by, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 22.5. I'm going to multiply by the denominator. I'm fraction busting. Because the 22.5s cancel each other out. Kind of an ugly number. So I have P left. Then all I got to do is the simple arithmetic on the right side. I do 7 times 22.5, which is 157.5. 5 times 1 is 5. And then all I have to do is divide 157.5 by 5. And when you do that, you get 31.5. So we multiplied by the denominator again to get P by itself. Okay, for B, I have x over 30 equals 12 over 15. Now, what just clicked into my head is, wait a minute, 30 and 15 are like cousins there. How do I get from 30 to 15? Yep, just simply we multiply by 2. So why don't we just multiply by 2 on the top side? So what's 12 times 2? Good. So x equals 24. So that one's pretty easy. I'm going to move this up for you. Okay, now over here we have 3 ounces. This is C. 3 ounces over 19 minutes equals 16 ounces over X minutes. So we've got to go, what might be the best way to do this? When I have numbers like this that don't go in perfectly, I don't even mess around. I go straight to cross multiply and divide. So I will do 3 times x is 3x. 19 times 16, so we got to think a little bit. So 19 times 16, if you need to, get on your calculator. And we should get 304. And then, how do we finish it? Yep, divide. So we divide by 3, divide by 3. So 3 goes into 30, 10 times. We have, that's perfect, 3 goes into 4 once, and then I have 1 left over. So 101 and 1/3. Again, simple, easy, cross multiply, and then divide. Now, also down here, I wrote, if you notice, we had B was x over 30 equals 12 over 15. I wrote it down again, so write yours down again. Because I thought about another way that some of you guys might like to do this. Again, my favorite way, okay, to do this is generally cross multiply and divide. But we should practice the other ways. So if I write it down, x over 30 equals 12 over 15, is our job is to get x by itself. That's our goal. That's what we're trying to find out. So we need to get rid of the 30. So let's multiply both sides by 30. We're going to multiply by the denominator that's there. So now I have just x on the left side. Okay, then I have, look at how easy this is. I have 12 over 15 times 30 over 1. You can do 12 times 30 and then divide by 15. But I notice this relationship. 15 goes into 15 once, 15 goes into 30 twice. What's 12 times 2? Yep, 24. And that's the same thing we got up above. Same answer. Okay, last one. Solving proportional relationships. Remember when we said, and we spent a lot of time and me beating this into your brain of going, what makes something proportional? And you guys told me straight lines on a graph, a constant rate, and that it starts at 0, 0, the origin. In real life, you were telling me we've got to have a constant rate. Does it make sense to start at 0, 0? So what I want you to do with these two is we're just going to, let me move it up a little bit. We're just going to, on 7-109, go, hey, is this a proportional relationship, yes or no? So you gotta ask yourself, do you have a constant rate, and would it make sense to start at 0, 0? Then I want you to solve it. So two things are going on. So let's read this one. Steve drove 130 miles from Portland to Tacoma, and it took him 2 hours. If he continues to drive at that same speed, how long will it take him to drive 390 miles? So is this proportional? So you gotta ask yourself, does it make sense that if I drive 0 miles, it'll take 0 minutes? Which I hope you answered yes. And then we're at a constant speed, the same speed, so this one will be yes, proportional. Now we gotta set it up and solve. So let's do it just how we were taught. I have 130 miles in 2 hours. So 130 miles over 2 hours. And that's gotta be equal to 390 miles over X hours, because we don't know the hours. Now again, depending on how good you are, do you see a relationship here? Some of you will, some of you won't. So you can cross multiply and then divide, but I noticed that from here to here is like multiplying by 3. So I'm just gonna multiply by 3, and X equals 6 hours. It's also okay if you get the unit rate. So instead of 130 miles in 2 hours, you get 65 miles in 1 hour. And then divide 65 into 390. Okay, let's take a look at this last one. An amusement park, you pay $15 entrance fee, then $4 for each ride you go on. How much will it cost you to go on 7 rides? So is it proportional? Well, I have a constant rate of $4 for every ride, but if I go on 0 rides, have I paid $0? I paid 15 bucks to get in. That messes this up. This is not proportional because we had to pay to just get into the park. Whether we ride rides or not, that's irrelevant. So this one is not proportional. And if I asked you to explain this, that's what I would want to see. I have to pay $15 to get into the park, even if I don't ride any rides and spend any time. Now we got to solve this. So okay, we have $15 going on. And then what do we have? $4 for each ride. So how do I write $4 per ride? Yes, Julian, thank you. Julian said, put down 4x. And x is equal to a ride. Okay, so x is my ride, it's my variable, $4 per ride plus the $15 to get into the park. So they want to know how much will it cost you to go on 7 rides. All right, well, put your 7 in there and find out. So we have 15 plus 4 times 7. I need 4 times 7 from somebody. Thank you, Ashley. She yelled out 28. Well, she really didn't yell it out. Ashley raises her hand. Thank you, Ashley. And then 15 plus 28 is $43. So it cost us $43 to go on 7 rides. The $15 to get into State Fair plus, okay, $4 for every ride. That's kind of expensive if you ask me. I think that's why you get those wristbands so you can ride all day or whatever. Good move. Okay, you think you're ready to do it on your own? Let's do it. All right, so here's your problems. Okay, solve these proportions any way you want. Practice using different methods. So the first one, you have 35 over 70 equals x over 100. 35 over 70 equals x over 100. The second one, you have 12 over 33 equals m over 11. 12 over 33 equals m over 11. The third one, x over 15 equals 12 over 75. X over 15 equals 12 over 75. And then the last one, 4 over 32 equals 10.5 over x. 4 over 32 equals 10.5 over x. Okay, so solve them whatever way you want, show your work. Find me x, m, x, and x. So at this point, you can pause the video and there, get it all done, and then come on back and I'll have that for you. Remember, I'm gonna have stuff for you the following week. Please do the formative after you've watched the video. So go ahead, go do the work. And you're back, so you want some answers? Okay, I'll move this up a little bit. Okay, so if you notice on this first one, I simplified the fractions. I knew that 7 went into 35 5 times, 7 went into 70 10. And then 10 over to 100 is multiplied by 10, multiplied by 10. In the second one, I noticed to get from 33 down to 11, I only had to divide by 3. So I divided 12 by 3 to get to 4. I also saw on number 3 that from 75 down to 15 was divided by 5. So I divided 12 by 5, which comes out to be a little bit of a goofy number, but it's 2.4. I know some of you might cross multiply and divide. That might be a better avenue for you. And then the fourth one, for sure, I cross multiply and divide. 4 times x is 4x. 32 times 10.5 is 336. And then I divided by 4, okay, to get 84. So, hope that went well for you. Enjoy your spring break. Make sure you do the formative, and we'll be all good. See you guys later.